Welcome to Seriously Catherine, a podcast about taking your business seriously, but not yourself. Okay, welcome to Seriously Catherine. On this week's episode, we don't have a guest. It's just me answering a very important question that has come up several times over the duration of the show. And is it Caity? Is it Catherine? Who is Caity Willis? Why do you go by Catherine Hover? And I'm going to get all into that and answer this very important question. I want to talk about Caity qualifying for the Olympics. I just want to say this, like, she did the crime and she paid the time kind of thing. Like, she sat out the Olympics. The last Summer Olympics, she sat it out. That's going to suck when you're, like, at the top of your game. You're the shit. You know, her biological mother had just died before she had to compete, so she smoked some pot to self-medicate. You know, so a lot of people were, like, pissed about her. And, like, you know, the whole thing about, like, okay, these people are supposed to be role models for our young people. And, you know, didn't Michael Phelps have the same situation? Like, he smoked some pot and, you know, I don't even know if he was disqualified or not, but it's like, this all came through my feed like last night. She like killed it. She set a record. And what I think is so incredible is that, first of all, she went to LSU. I don't know if I mentioned this, but she like is from Texas, but she went to LSU, which is, I mean, obviously have to support the Tigers. But last year, or not last year, but the last time we saw a lot of her in the press is like, she's got this flaming orange hair. She's got these long nails. She's, you know, she's just like authentically unapologetically herself. And then so this time it does seem like she just had a different energy about her. Like, she was not messing around, you know, she was like focused. Anyway, she kicked ass. She like stumbled right out of not the gate. She's not a racehorse, but she like stumbled a little bit when she was getting started. And then at the end in all these photos, she's got like the nails that are just like so long. I would literally trip over my nails if they were that long. And her shoes untied. She literally finished this race. She broke records. She qualified for the Olympics and her shoe was untied. I mean, this is like, I can't get over it. And then, of course, she wins, right? And then she, like, runs up into the stands to her grandmother who raised her. I don't know. It was just, like, a moment where I was just like, this is so cool. I just love an underdog story. I love when people are, like, you know, people are betting against you and you just, like, come back stronger than ever. I mean, I'm so excited for her, and I'm excited to watch her in the Olympics. I know an Olympian, Chrissy Wagner. Let's just point out another qualifier that maybe hits a little closer to home, like this home as in Saratoga Springs. Chrissy Wagner, she is a rower, and she qualified the Olympics. She's going to Paris. I mean, I kind of want to go. Like, can we go and root for her? Like, how does that work? Chrissy, I'm going to need you to get back to me on the dates of when we can come to Paris. Another major hot take that I just cannot get enough of right now is, this was just last night's show in London. Taylor Swift had her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, on the stage with her. It was the most incredible experience. Like, I felt like I was there in real life watching all the streams come through. Okay, so imagine, just for a moment, you go back to your ex-boyfriend's home or town, and after performing The Smallest Man That Ever Lived, you then have your current boyfriend come out on stage and carry you on stage in London. I mean, it's like F you. It's just so amazing. And he is beaming. Like, he was having he's a performer. I mean, he loves the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna give him that. But like, he is like beaming with pride, and he's so happy to be there. He's having so much fun. He's like just watching her just like do her damn thing, and I just, like, my heart melted. I'm like, wow, this is love. This is partnership. This is support. This is like, okay. I have to also mention, this was all coming in on a Sunday, right? So CBS Sunday Morning is like my religion. We watch CBS Sunday Morning every Sunday morning. And so Sunday morning, there was a segment about Doug, who is the second gentleman. He's Kamala Harris's husband. The whole segment is about like his role in life right now. Like, he left a very successful law practice. He moved himself across the country to be by her side, to be the supportive person. And like, there was a question about like a lot of times wives are asked about their husbands that are presidents, like, do you advise your husband? And so the reporter asked him, do you advise your wife? Like, and he was like, no, she's got enough advisors around her. I am her husband. I am her partner, and I am here to support her. And I was like dying because, oh my God. Oh my God. Some might think it's difficult to be married to such a powerful woman, somebody who's successful in her own right and clearly has some financial independence. And I thought it was just so cool to hear him proudly, like he's not less of a man because he's like in this position of support and I don't know, partnership. I don't even know what to say. And then that night I see all of these images and videos of Travis Kelce like just being this guy. I mean, this is endgame. This is endgame for Taylor Swift. She's going to freaking marry this guy. She's going to have his freaking babies. She's going to write a song about it. And it's just like the most incredible love story being played out. And the other thing, another like dig, which I don't even think is intentional. Like I think she unintentionally, maybe she does, maybe she is petty. I don't know. She posted a selfie of her and her boyfriend, who is American, and with the King of England. Not just one King of England, but the future king, like hold on. I can't even articulate how incredible this was. She posted a selfie of her and her boyfriend with the 2 future kings of England. It's like another like slap in the face, you blokes. You really did it. You really did it. You were just warming the bench for Travis. I do also think if Travis Kelce fucks this up, we will all kill him. You're on notice. People are going to come for you if you screw this up. Taylor could screw it up. That's fine. And maybe she will, but she will be forgiven. You will never be forgiven. So I don't know. I just feel like they both are operating as if this is in the bag. That is my hot take. Okay, I've been asked to address this sort of, is it the elephant in the room? I don't know. So I go by Catherine Hover. That's my name. I was named Catherine Miller Willis. That is my name. But I always went by Caity growing up, like baby Caity, middle school Caity, high school Caity, college Caity, okay? And a lot of people know me as Caity Willis from back home. I didn't change my name to Catherine. I just changed my preferred name to Catherine. It was when I got married. So when I got married to Mark, I had this like identity crisis. I just felt like no one was going to think of me as Caity Hover. Like they would never be able to think like, oh, Caity Hover? So that was like one piece of it. And I felt like Catherine Hover sounded more cohesive, if you will. So that was like one thing. Second thing is when I was going to open Paint and Sip, I was still going by Caity, and I felt like years later now, I know this is all in my head and my own perception, but Caity just sounded like a little girl trying to be in the big bad business world, and it was not going to go well. So I felt strongly like at the same time of changing my name to Catherine, or changing my preferred name to Catherine, I will also use that name around the business. So that's sort of what happened. And what's funny, though, is like I know like Ryan McFadden, he's been on the program before, and he calls me Caity. Like, because at that time I was still going by, like I would still introduce myself as Caity, but even like on emails or paperwork, I would always put Catherine. So then I just sort of felt like, I think the underlying thing is that I didn't believe that I would be taken seriously as a business owner or a business person with a childish name like Caity. And now I know so many business women named Caity, and I love it. So I don't know, maybe I'll go back to Caity. I'm so Catherine Hover now. When I go back home, people still do call me Caity. What's cool about the name Catherine and Caity, I could just like go back and forth as I will. I also want to point out, just because you hear someone say to call me Caity doesn't mean like we're closer. I think that's another thing that comes up all the time is like, oh, you call her Caity? Yes, that person calls me Caity. But really it's just because they met me when I was still going by the preferred name of Caity. It has nothing to do with like how close we are or if we're really best friends. And then people that I met more recently introduced myself to them as Catherine doesn't mean that the people who call me Catherine are less important or impactful to my life. Okay? It makes no difference to me. I even joke around all the time like, I don't know, it's really not that important, but then that sounds hypocritical because I literally changed my preferred name to Catherine from Caity. So it must have been a little important. I feel like I need to dig into this with a psychotherapist, get to the root reason. But anyway, call me Catherine, call me Caity, call me hey you, hey lady. I'll answer to it all. Okay, this week's business lesson is revolving around like you physically can't be in two places at one time. And you constantly have to think about where your best place, like what is your best use of time? Where do you really need to be? What are your priorities? And letting the chips fall where they may. Like, for example, right? So there was the Palette Pro Talk on Thursday. And although we've made changes at Palette, I'm still very much a part of this community and I want to be at everything. I just want to be at everything. It was also Ruby's kindergarten graduation, which like a part of me really felt like that morning, like, yeah, do I need to be at the kindergarten graduation? Mark's not going to be at the kindergarten graduation because he has work. And Mandy's going to be there because my sister-in-law, so she'll be there at least, but like I'm Ruby's mom and like no one takes the place of me and no one is as important than me to my 6-year-old daughter at this point in her life, and maybe indefinitely, right? Like I'm a pretty big deal in her life. I'm not just saying like, oh, I'm a big deal. I'm like, but in her life, like I'm all she has. The look on her face when she just kept on turning around the chair and like looking at me, she's like beaming with pride. I mean, could you imagine her turning around not being there? I thought about this on that day where it's like, if I had a regular job, would I be able to be here? And I'm sure there are lots of parents who can't be there. There's so much with kids. Like there's so many activities. I mean, I was even feeling the guilt because I don't know why, but like towards the end of the school year, they like load up all these field trips and it's like sign up to come to be a chaperone at the field trip. And my mom never could go to those field trips because she was teaching. She was always working. My dad surely as hell was never going to show up to those things. And like I turned out okay, fine, whatever. I mean, we talked about this with Margie Willis, right? Like she did the best that she could. And I love her for it. I love that she did everything she could. Anyway, my point is that was like just one instance where it's like I'm being pulled in these two very important, difficult decisions, right? I think what's really revealing to me and apparent is that this community or this business that I created and this community that exists because of that work, like they all get it, So I couldn't be here and everyone understands. And the other part of it too is like I did run in like a bat out of hell, like for like the beginning of it. I was like, hi everybody, hi. And it's like all I could say is like, hi, I can't be here. And then I'm like wasting people's time, right? Like I'm wasting my own energy and I'm also like that crazy lady that just, is running all over the place. So anyway, my lesson is that you really truly, like we haven't figured out how to clone ourselves yet. And like, I wouldn't want a clone of me at Ruby's graduation. I want to be there for that. It was the most adorable thing. She was so proud. And I didn't get to go to Posey's kindergarten graduation because it didn't exist because of COVID. So, it's just like every day we are making these decisions on like where we needed to be, what's a priority, what can fall by the wayside, what can be put on the back burner. Your family really can't be. So, and I appreciate all the people that are around me that get that and understand and support me in these decisions. They give me the benefit of the doubt that I'm like making the right moves, right? The other thing is I couldn't go to the mixer. I couldn't go to the Congress Park picnic mixer, which is looked like so much fun. So I have like so much major FOMO from not being there. But yeah, so like it's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. You're going to miss out on some things. Now, I do have like a little tip or trick like that I can share on when there's an event. Like I couldn't go to the Women at Work Summit, which was also on Thursday, which was also the same day as the Palette Pro Mixer, same day as Ruby's kindergarten graduation, was the Women at Work Summit where a plethora of our members were there. They were on panels and I wanted to be there to support them, but like physically couldn't even be in 3 places at one time, right? But this is what's so cool. So I got multiple text messages throughout the day from people who are at that event saying like, oh my God, people are mentioning Palette. Everyone's talking about Palette, even though I'm not physically there. It's just a lesson in that like I am not the only person who is the advertiser or sharer of the news of Palette, right? There's people who are just as passionate and excited and loyal to the community and they want people to know about Palette too. So that was really cool to just like, in real time, I was feeling like less and less guilt of not being where I thought I wanted to be or whatever, because like Palette's name was being mentioned in rooms that I wasn't in. So that was really cool. But another trick is like you can go back. Everything is so photographed and like digital now. So you can go back and look at pictures of that event that you missed and see the people in those photos and then reach out to them on LinkedIn and say like, hey, I didn't get to see you at the Women at Work Summit event, or I didn't get to see you at the Palette Pro pro mixer, but I saw you were there. I would love to have coffee with you, would love to touch base, and like, again, constantly just building your network, and you can still make an impact even if you're not there physically. Okay, this week from Saratoga Living After Hours, I am really excited about Jazz Fest is this weekend. Now, I am from New Orleans, okay, the birthplace of jazz. So I have very high expectations about what this Jazz Fest, this will be my first year going, and I have very high expectations on what this Jazz Fest is going to be all about. But I'm told that it is so much fun. You can bring a tent, you can bring wagons, you can bring ice chests, you can bring picnics, and then they all obviously will have all that stuff there too. If you don't have a chair to sit, I mean, you got to bring a chair. You got to bring a chair, got to bring a blanket, make a picnic out of it. It's family friendly, 12 and under are free to get in, which is so cool. I don't even really know who's playing on Saturday, but it starts at 11. I'm gonna try to get there if it's anything like the New Orleans Jazz Fest, which I know that it's not New Orleans Jazz Fest, but people get there at the ass crack of dawn and they're like waiting at the gates to get in because they need to get a good spot. So I don't know if it'll be that intense, but I am going to bring my A game, and I'm super excited. I hope the weather is good. I'm going to wear a festival dress. And a sun hat. These are the things you got to think about. We should share pictures of New Orleans Jazz Fest because it is a menagerie of music and people and dancing and drinking and just like music. It brings people together. That is what I have in my mind of what it will be like on Saturday at SPAC's Jazz Fest. So I think it'll be that, but like Saratoga. These are going to be like really high class, highbrow people listening to the jazz music. So that's my thought is like, it's going to be next level, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's my first one. So over the next few months, we're going to do a little experiment. We're going to do a podcast takeover. So we have several businesswomen from our community that are going to get in my seat and host the show for a few weeks for you. And I'm so excited because if I can do anything to build confidence in other people and share another perspective of stories or experience, I am going to do it. I am always going to use my platform to share the mic, share the stage. I'm not up here alone. I'm up here with so many different types of people that have been role models, inspiration, empowering to me, and I want to do that too. So I'm really, really excited because you're going to love these amazing women who are getting into the hot seat. They're going to have their own guests. They're going to have their own personalities. They're going to have their own experience to share, and I'm really looking forward to learning and learning from them. And hopefully what I really do hope to come of this is that people recognize that everyone deserves the spotlight. Everyone deserves the mic. Everyone deserves a time on the stage. Like, it's so incredibly empowering to be able to share your story. And like, people want to hear it. People are listening. They're interested. And the whole time we're learning. We're just like learning all about different types of people and different experiences and different takes on it. I don't claim to be the end all be all, So I'm super excited for you to meet all these people. And obviously I am still around, so you can always contact me via email, Instagram, whatever. I'm around. Looking forward to all of your feedback, and really just thank you so much for listening. This experience of having my own show was definitely something that I was like, what am I doing? I feel like we explored a bit of the imposter syndrome on the show, and that's definitely like an underlining thing about being a woman in business and being a mom in business. Like, you're constantly navigating that. So I'm excited to just to see what happens next. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for like downloading the podcast and listening to it. It kind of blows my mind that we have such an audience and people are interested in what I have to say. So I think what's really cool about the Seriously Catherine podcast is it builds self-confidence. It has built self-confidence in me. It has built self-confidence in our guests and all of you. And I think it's become the podcast to listen to if you need a boost of confidence or a boost of empowerment or a burst of hope, right? Like, sometimes we're feeling just so hopeless and stressed and anxious. It's like, what pulls us out is hearing someone else's story of how they overcome that same experience, that same feeling. And it's just been so remarkable to me to hear a bunch of stories from people about how, like, people have reached out to me and saying, like, oh my God, I was listening to this podcast and it just changed my view on this, or made me feel less alone. That just like warms my freaking heart, because I mean, I feel less alone when people tell me that. And it's hard to think that maybe I feel loneliness or isolation or self-doubt, but we all do. And so if listening to this podcast helps you gain the self-confidence you need to try something new or start a business or put yourself out there, I am just so excited for you to continue listening. And thank you so much for being here on this journey with me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And if you want to connect with me, slide into my DMs on Instagram. My handle is Catherine Hover.